This is a demonstration video for Hexmaker Tactics, the Hexgrid Tactics RPG creation engine. This is the main menu. First, Settings. Full screen runs as a borderless window, which is my personal preference. These volume sliders save their value on confirm. Currently, there are no sounds in the interface whatsoever, so these don't actually do anything, but they will soon. New Project creates and opens a new project, which is a shared set of maps and paints. More on paints later. Text on screen shows the specific directory the project will be created at. For instance, if I type in the name test project, like so, we can see that the project itself will be created at the directory to the file itself, project's test project. Due to the portable design of the program, the default directory it will place new projects in is the same directory as the executable. For security reasons, please do not place this program in a protected folder. I cannot be held liable for what occurs if you decide to do this. Let's create this test project now. Opening a new project immediately opens the map generator with options for width, height, and a map name. Leaving the map name blank will name the map unnamed, because it is unnamed. Generate the map, and here we are. This is the editor interface. I've designed this to be as intuitive as possible, but all releases include an in-depth user manual. What others know, I may not, and vice versa. The camera is primarily controlled with the mouse, though its position and zoom can be changed using the keyboard. Right-click and drag rotates the camera, while middle-click and drag shifts the camera's position. The camera's position can also be changed using WASD and the arrow keys. This is the tool menu. Tools on the left control what tiles that the user interacts with, and tools on the right define that interaction. Pointer selects single tiles, but can also be dragged to select multiple. Rectangle selects a rectangle of tiles, in a way that is perspective correct to the camera. And finally, hexagon selects a hexagon of tiles, according to the displayed radius, as measured from center to corner. Selections can also be done additively by holding Shift, or subtractively by holding Control. When multiple tiles are selected, all have this light blue graphic applied on top of their default texture. When a single tile is selected, it is shown with this hand graphic. The user can rotate tiles by holding Control and using the zoom controls. Next, the tools on the right. The tools are, in order, Selection, Paint, Create Tile, Change Height, and Erase. More on Paint and Create Tile later. Change Height operates over all currently selected tiles, regardless of their selection. The user changes the height of the tiles by clicking and dragging upwards or downwards. The tiles lock into visual half steps for the purposes of the game engine, as their Y position is tracked using an unsigned 16-bit integer. Erase sets tiles to this ghostly state, which erases all relevant information regarding these specific tiles. Now, let's head back to the main menu for a second. Oop, didn't save yet. When a user attempts to exit a map with unsaved changes, this dialog appears before they can continue, forcing them to either save those changes or discard them. They may also press cancel and return to the interface to make any additional changes they want to make. Let's save and return to the menu. Now that we have a saved project, let's load it. We specifically want to load the project file itself, not just the directory the project is in. I may add that as a functionality, but it is not a high priority. While the text box itself is functional, for any sort of file loading, I recommend using the file button next to the box, as this opens up a file dialog within your native operating system. Opening an existing project loads into the map loader. If you manage to load a project that doesn't have any maps to load, it will bring up the generator. All maps can be loaded from this dropdown. And just like that, just as it was right before we saved it, the map is here. Finally, let's talk about paints. Both the paintbrush and the paint creator bring up the paints menu, which show what paints you have created for your project. Let's create one now, by pressing the Create Paint button. The paint creator allows us to set an existing image as a base texture, set its color using these 4 sliders, mark its 8 flags, and set a name for the new paint. Now, please do bear with me, I'm new to creating textures for things, and so these are all going to be very very basic. While the included base textures are of a rather small resolution, textures themselves can be any resolution, as the UV map of the model itself is defined relatively to the borders of the image. This sample texture shows exactly how textures will map onto the model. The color of an individual paint is set by these 4 sliders in an RGBA type affair. Now to discuss the flags. These 8 toggles represent 8 bits that are being stored by the paint itself, whose behavior and meaning can be implemented arbitrarily. For instance, this third flag could be defined to set a tile as poisoned, meaning it could either deal damage or apply a status effect to whatever character sits on it. Once we have named and accepted the paint, we can use it with all 3 shape tools by selecting the paint and then applying it to the map. The Create tool, as one might expect, creates new tiles, using the selected paint. When used on existing tiles, it creates the new tile 20 units above their current position. When used on erased tiles, it creates the new tile using their position. As of now, tiles not part of the main grid are not saved. This is to be implemented soon. The File menu manages files, as expected. The user can generate new maps, load existing maps, create new projects, and open existing projects from here. They can save and also open the Settings menu. Maps can be edited in Engine in this menu. They can be regenerated to a new size and renamed. Editing of paints and projects is to be implemented. Thank you for watching this brief demonstration.